We're back for another video. This time it's Let's Talk Football. It's been a while since we uploaded one of these, but circumstances, to say the least, didn't allow us to upload. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get started. I'm here with Charlie.
Yep, I'm back again.
It's yeah. So let's just get started. Let's not waste time.
So, firstly, we have the Manchester United Leeds game, which arguably is one of the games so far of the season. McTominay scored twice in the space of a minute, second and third, as Man United thumped them 6-2. Fernandes also scored twice, Lindelof and James adding James's first goal of the season, which should boost his confidence. Leeds, they play the wrong type of football against these types of teams. The teams that hit them on counter-attacks, that's where they go wrong. They press too high. They're vulnerable at the back. The reason they lost 6-2.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Leeds defending, it was like schoolboy defending. Like,
lunchtime football.
honestly, it's not. That's an insult to lunchtime football, bro. At least they know how to defend. I'm not lying. I've never seen. The fourth goal Man United scored. Lindelof literally walked through the whole Leeds team. He walked through the defense.
Yeah, he was unmarked.
Who was marking him? And Leeds again. I don't think this. I mean, they're gonna stay up, but this type of football, it's not gonna work. You can't. Against Man United, who have James, Martial, and Rashford, with Bruno supplying them, it's just retarded to do this. And it was never going to work.
So now we have Crystal Palace Liverpool, which was also one of the games of the season. Liverpool scored 7, Palace 0. First time I've seen that in a while. Palace, I don't think they should really be concerned, as they probably won't get relegated. But they should reconsider their starting lineup and how they play against these big teams, as Liverpool thumped them. Even Roberto Firmino scored twice, and Minamino scored once as well. And Salah came off the bench and scored twice.
Okay.
And played well.
Yeah. Apologies for the background noises. My phone rang, so yeah. But now we're going to talk about the Spurs and Man City games. So how funny is it that Tottenham were supposed to be the title contenders after beating City, Arsenal, United, that they've just lost? They've picked up 1 point out of 3 games, 1 point, and that was to Crystal Palace, who just lost 7-0. And I think it screams volumes that after beating Man United 6-1, Man United are third in the Premier League, and if they win, they go second. And Tottenham could probably fall out of the top 6 if City win their game in hand. And it's crazy how 1 week makes such a big difference. And honestly, for Tottenham, I would worry for them, because nothing is guaranteed in the Premier League. It's never going to be guaranteed. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot go into games when you don't have a backup plan. Their plan was effectively to just pass to Son and Kane, and it doesn't work all the time. And it didn't work, and it's not worked at all for the last 3 games. Yes, they scored against Liverpool. Yes, they should have won that game, although Liverpool dominated it. They easily could have won. But the fact is that they didn't win, and now Tottenham are being Spursy again. And as for Manchester City, I mean, it was a good win against Southampton. It was a win that Man City had to. It was a game that Man City had to win, and they did. And it eases the pressure of Pep. And to be honest, I'm very happy because Southampton are a good side. They are not a pushover. They have one of the best home forms in the Premier League, and only second to Liverpool, by the way. And they have an average of scoring over 2 goals a game, which is quite stupendous, honestly, for a club like Southampton, who lost 9-0 12 months ago. It's crazy. And it's a good win for Man City, but I was more impressed with the 4-1 demolition of Arsenal. That was more impressive for me. So, yeah, it was a pretty crazy week in the Premier League, but now let's move on to Espanyol. Now, for Barcelona, Barcelona came into the game after beating one of the best teams in Spain right now, Sociedad, and they were dominant in the first half. Second half, a little bit, but they drew to Valencia. And honestly speaking, Clermont Longley, he can't defend. He's incapable of defending set pieces. Same with the rest of that defense. And I know he was only on for the last 15 minutes, but he was so pathetic, it was worrying. And I know Oscar Mengueta and Araujo played for most of that game, but they can't defend set pieces either. It was very clear. But luckily, Barcelona fans, they did they did beat Valladolid 3-0, and it was a good win for Valladolid. And I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just Valladolid." This is the thing with Barca this season is they're struggling to beat the teams like Valladolid. And for context, I know Valladolid are 18th in the league, but if they win their game, if they beat Barca, they would have jumped to 10th in the table. So, and more importantly from that game, Lionel Messi is getting a smile on his face, and he broke Pele's record, and now is nobody's going to beat that record that he holds of having the most goals for one club. As for yeah, nobody's getting close, so it's not going to happen because loyalty no longer exists in football. It's a dead thing. We're not going to see players like stick around like Messi, Keane, Giggs. We're not going to see stuff like that. And as for Real Madrid, I mean, they're gaining a serious amount of momentum, and they look much better than they did like just about 2 weeks ago. People were saying, "Oh, Real Madrid in crisis." Now they're off the back of they have just beaten in the last 2 weeks. They've beaten Sevilla 1-0, Mönchengladbach 2-0, Atletico Madrid, who by the way didn't lose a game up until that point, 2-0. They beat a resolute Bilbao 3-1. They beat Eibar 3-1, and they beat Granada 2-0. They have won they've won 6 in a row, gaining a lot of momentum, and Zidane, he saved his job very well. Now onto the Bundesliga, where Charlie will be talking mainly about Bayern Munich and Dortmund.
So, firstly, with Dortmund's game, obviously they sacked their manager a few days ago, but still couldn't get the result against Union Berlin, who were promoted 2 seasons ago and nearly got relegated last season. Mokoko scored, a 16-year-old, still in school, somehow scored. This was a really good goal as well.
Yeah, it was.
The Union Berlin played too strong for Dortmund, and Dortmund need to sort their club out. And now on to Bayern Munich's game, where they played Leverkusen, a decent side, where the two brothers, both Benders, they've announced their retirement at the end of the season. Schick scored a Zidane-esque goal in the 14th minute.
Yeah.
But Lewandowski scored twice and pinched it in the 93rd minute.
And honestly, for Bayern Munich, they're finding a way to win games. And Leverkusen are not an easy team to beat, in the league especially. So, yeah, it was a good week for Bayern, a bad week for Dortmund, and a week that doesn't... this season is going to be very tough. And Jadon Sancho, somebody who I want to talk about, who was heavily linked with a move to Manchester United, he has not scored a goal this season.
900 minutes played.
We're in December. We're gonna be in January. He is for the 120 million that people were saying they should pay for him. In contrast, Daniel James, who arguably plays in a harder league with more competition, by the way, has already scored 2 goals, one in the Champions League, and one against Leeds. So in much less game time actually. So I'm not saying that, of course, Sancho is a talented player, don't get me wrong, but this is a worrying thing for Dortmund. And if you take out Haaland out of that team, Giovanni Reina, the US star, he looks like he's the only player capable of scoring or assisting. And Haaland, by the way, missed an absolute sitter against Berlin. From point blank, he missed, and it sums up Dortmund's situation right now, frankly. For me, I think Pochettino could be the right manager, but that's a completely different topic. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.